Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion, plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus. We're leaving a run in progress. I had to leave in the middle of it to tend to some duties. He said the word. VHVM QME 0. And we're good to go here. With the mulligan and a fresh start, shall I say. I've come to terms with the last loss, and I'll explain why. I could have won the last run after the reroll. Absolutely. But in the end, we would have won if we had not rerolled, and I think that much is relatively, uncontroversial to say. So I have to reconcile with myself. Would I rather have a better win rate and never reroll, or reroll and run into the possibility of a loss from time to time? It might be a false dichotomy, but it's the dichotomy I'm bringing to you right now. Yo, no, let me out. I want it. And the thing is, and I'll explain why. Winning is fun, no question about it. But also, it's like on the last run, the win was a foregone conclusion. If we had just stuck with what we had, we would have won. We would have gotten heaps of praise, Nobel Peace Prizes, and all of these various accolades that come with winning a run in the Binding of Isaac in 2018. However, we basically did win the last run. I'm not trying to say it should count as a win. I'm just trying to say we went through the steps necessary to get a win, and we got it. So I would always, unless there's greater stakes at play, like we're on, win 99, I would always rather reroll, add a little bit of spice to the dish. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, hey, we had a fun time, My personal perspective. That being said, I do take some responsibility because we really could have won the last one if I had just taken less damage en route to getting to Mega Satan, and I take personal responsibility for that, of course, as well. But anyway, we're moving on. As long as you're cool with it, I'm cool with it, and as far as I'm concerned, as long as I'm cool with it, you should be cool with it. Wait a minute. That's what I was looking for, really. Is the door open? Because no. I don't really use the stopper that much, or the door stop, which is really I guess it's not the opposite of a stopper, is it? It stops the door from closing. So it stops, fair enough. What are you talking about? I don't know, okay? I'm all shook up. I was hoping to get to 5 cents. We got decent arcade potential. Okay, we got, it's the worst place to place it, but that's okay. We got amazing arcade potential, and I will absolutely use a bomb right there. Alright, I can't be happy about it, but I can't be too upset. 13 cents. Am I going to go to the shop on this floor? Absolutely not. We'd, in my opinion, better off taking a little game theory approach here. Probably check for a second secret room. I don't think this would get it, but I think it is here. Yeah, okay. And fair enough. I don't know why that room exists, but I understand, I guess, that I don't need to understand. That's what faith is. So here we are, heading down to the next floor. Stop. That damage is inconsequential. It's irrelevant. I'm not worried. Range upgrade. And a luck upgrade as well. I'm thinking, I'm like, I take the sanctity, oh no. I take the sanctity of a win call in Isaac very seriously. I was 12 years old in the year 2000. Watch a little news network by the name of the Central Cable News Network. That's what it is. It says, you guys can go to bed. Al Gore has won the election. CNN's predicting it. By the way, I don't remember if this is exactly how it happened, but just let me build the bit, okay? Ted Turner, I'm not trying to slander you or your network. Wake up in the morning. It's the start of one of the biggest controversies in American political history. That's why I don't want to make a premature call. I don't want you falling asleep and being like, I'm going to wake up to the victory screen, and then you wake up and you're like, well, what happened here? It says your streak's -1. That implies that you lost 2 runs on the last episode. Seems out of character, NL. Well, you wouldn't be wrong. You wouldn't be wrong indeed. Let's try Poke Go this time. Seems very unlikely we'll get an arcade. But I'm thinking, as I look at this here, I can almost make the call. I guess once I get certification from our team on the ground in the deal with the devil, we'll see what that contains. If it contains something amazing, we could probably call it. Feel relatively confident. The main reason is that, dude, I like it. The main reason is actually how to jump, which is scary because I don't use it properly. But if I do, we're in a great spot. But we'll see. For now, I don't know. Maybe the thing is, you know, the hardest part isn't winning. It's letting go of the need to win. If I can just relax, take a deep breath, lower the blood pressure, pop a chewable aspirin or something like that, and see, maybe the wins will come flowing after that. It's only when you try to force it things become an issue, you know? It's like Guitar Hero or a Rock Band. You try to get an FC, it's a full complete for those of you not in the know. It's a 100% and streaking the entire song. You're gonna make it more difficult on yourself. Well, here's what I think of the Little Harbingers, okay? I think they're straight up trash to the point that I'm not even gonna take them even though it would have cost us nothing. I think that item is so bad that I won't even take it for free at this point. And if you want to take that up with me, I'm happy to be the lightning rod for your criticism. But what you should do is take it up with the people who invented the item. And by that, I mean gently nudge them and be like, hey, maybe make it so flies don't explode so much. Just not forcing anything. In the internet age, you have to be very delicate. And I mean that both sincerely and with a little tongue-in-cheek. Can you do that? Can you be sincere and sarcastic simultaneously? What I mean is that, you know, public figures get a lot of criticism. Some of that criticism is harassment. Full stop. But what that leads to, I think, is a lot of false positives. Where somebody tweets me and they say, hey, NL, stop stunning people so much in Darkest Dungeon. You should rely more on damage and buffing. And I say, Twitter, can you please ban this person's account? So that's why you gotta be delicate. You gotta open every criticism with a little bit of a compliment. Hey, Eggman, love your videos. You're handsome. Smarter than I am. Stronger than I am. Better man in every single way. But here's a little tip that you could use in Darkest Dungeon to make your life better. To which I'll read and go, well, he's being kind of a jerk, but he has a point.
Two of spades.
Maybe. That's how you gotta do it in today's day and age. If you don't do it like that, you're running the risk of coming across as a troll. Lives under a bridge and gives people feedback but doesn't put positive spin on it. Anyway. This run, still great. And really, it's not a win quite yet, but it's a win very shortly. And what I mean by that is we have Satanic Bible car battery. So we're getting, you know, if you want to simplify the fraction, once every 3 rooms, we are getting a Demon Heart. But more accurately, and it is relevant right now, we're getting 2 Demon Hearts every 6 rooms. So in about 12 rooms, things are going to look amazing for us on an HP level. But for now, there is still a little bit of danger. Stats are good. I mean, damage is incredible. The damage doesn't even take into account the fact that we have Bookworm. There's really very little to complain about here. Including that. A Demon Heart is going to be in huge supply pretty soon. Per throw, not so much. So to have a reroll is very nice. I don't know why I added that. To have a reroll. I was doing like the... Who's Yogi? It's Boo Boo. Yeah. Wait, but Boo Boo's who is? It's like a henchman. That's the voice I was doing. I knew it was something from like a cartoon. It's always like a genius who's like, you nincompoops, catch me that rowdy raccoon. And then the little short chubby henchman goes, okay, boss. And then the other one is like a tall lanky dude and goes, yeah, we're on it, boss. You incompetent fool, you dithering twerps. Catch me that raccoon. They never explain in these cartoons why is a genius supervillain surrounding himself with idiots. If he just, ooh, that was scary, used like a privately contracted security firm or something. Like, imagine if he had, like, Blackwater or something like that. And they were like, find me Inspector Gadget. They'd be like, all right, finding Inspector Gadget. 3 days later, we iced him. That'd be the end of that cartoon. Welcome to the real world, kids. Inspector Gadget got killed for political reasons. Now coming up next, it'll be the news, followed by a soap opera, followed by the news again. That was what our local station was like. At 5:30, well, at 5 they played The Simpsons. 5:30 they played half-hour news. My favorite Captain Beefheart song. It's a bit of a stretch. 6 o'clock, a full hour of news. 7 o'clock, Wheel of Fortune. 7:30, Jeopardy. I know it's reversed in some places, but that's what it was here. 8 o'clock, Everybody Loves Raymond. 8:30, Frasier. 9 o'clock, news. 10 o'clock was like Coronation Street. 11 o'clock, news. News was a huge moneymaker, dude. I actually sort of, I wouldn't say miss, but like watching the news in Vancouver, and I assume this works the way in like any big city, it's hard to feel connected to your community because the community is so large. Not all the news in Vancouver is related to crime. Like, I've watched news from other cities in the world. A man was murdered today on Yesler Way. A man was murdered today on 8th Street. A man was murdered today, gunned down in the, you know, you get the idea. That's not really what it's like here. But still, you know, the city's big enough that you're like, oh, there was a fire in Carysdale today, and you're like, oh, well, you know, I've been there 3 times in my entire life. So it's not, I'm not trying to say I'm ignorant of the, you know, ramifications of the fire. It's just, you know, it doesn't feel like it's as close to home. When I grew up in a smaller town, it's much different. You know, you're like, there's a fire on Sydenham Road. You're like, Sydenham Road? I hope it's not the gas station video rental store. And they're like, it's the gas station video rental store. And you're like, no! I hope the Tim Hortons that connects with Princess Street is safe. And they're like, the Tim Hortons is safe. And everyone goes, yeah! You know, it's like, no offense to the gas station and video store, but that place hasn't existed in 25 years. I essentially just reanimated them for this bit. The news in the smaller towns, just, I mean, it's more of a community. And sometimes that's good and sometimes that's bad. And I'm being real with you. I remember there was a situation where I was, my mom was driving me to school. None of this story is manufactured. My mom was driving me to school and the news came on the radio. And they were like, a teenager has been hit by a drunk driver last night and is in critical condition. And then, like, the driver has been arrested and identified as, like, 42-year-old blah. And then my mom went, and then she's like, that's my friend's husband. And I was like, whoa, that's a small town situation, you know, to be listening to the radio and be like, my best friend's life is all messed up now. I haven't thought about that story in a long time. That was like, I mean, then I went to like a normal day of school afterwards, but I mean, I don't want to make it about me. It's not like I was really affected. Well, the story's not really about that. It's more like, you know, now that I'm a little bit older and I have perspective, I'm like, man, that must have screwed my mom up. I should call my mom and be like, are you okay? For this thing that happened, you know, 15 years ago that I probably should have talked more about then, but I was, you know, 13 or 14. I was more focused on myself at the time, you know. You don't really understand it. You know what? This is what life's all about right here. You thought I was just blowing smoke up your butt? Absolutely not. I put my money where my mouth is. Definitely should have saved the lemon party. I like this. We got booger tears. We got lusty blood. There's some good stuff going on. 99 bombs and 99 keys. Our bombs are not special, except that there are 99 of them, which is really good. Yeah, mysterious liquid. This is all good. There's nothing to worry about here. So anyway, that story is why living in a small town makes the news more interesting. And then it ended on a very dour note. The closest we get in Vancouver news is like, if there's a fire or a car accident, I've already been in, I assume, or, you know, like a a stabbing. They'll be like, oh my god, that's near the sushi place that we go to sometimes. It's not like we're in danger, but it's more like I at least have a frame of reference for where that place is. Where the heck do I go here? Maybe up and left? No? Okay. I mean, we've been there. This way, perhaps? And then there must be another way to... It must be up? Yeah. Okay. I don't watch the news, though. I have very different opinions on the news from my parents. I mean, we're from a different generation. My mom, and it's not a joke, and I don't blame her for it. But her opinion on the news is that in order to be a responsible citizen, you have to basically watch the news. To not watch the news and keep abreast of what's going on in your community is irresponsible. And I can understand, as much as I think that probably that will be an unpopular opinion, I think I can understand reasons for it, you know? If you're ignorant of what's happening in your community, how can you vote responsibly? You know, how can you, I mean, I guess, she also probably, I'm imagining, believes that it's a necessary kind of part of protecting yourself is to know, you know, to be aware of the world around you. And I think there's a certain amount of merit to that. The reason I don't watch the news is because I have Twitter. That's not a good reason. I really thought I would have a stronger counter argument, but I don't know. You know, I used to watch the news every night growing up, and... Well, because my parents wanted to, but... I mean, you kind of... As much as I hate to say it, news kind of gets old, right? Hurricane, earthquake, shooting, scandal, you know? I'm not trying to say that we shouldn't keep abreast of some of that stuff. Mostly I keep abreast of it because I want to reference it on the show from time to time, and I think we do a good job of referencing current events without necessarily wading into them. However, I don't, in quite the opposite, you might be assuming, you know, oh, NL's the, I always get gaslighted by chat. NL's the reason fake news exists. Nah, dude, like, that's not really the case, because I would much rather, I want to watch, like, the most boring but accurate news possible. As soon as the news is like, you know, it gets, check in after the jump to see what Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson said. No, not interested at all. I want, the traffic was medium density today and blah, blah. That's what I want, but that's not what happens, you know? I think we've passed that looking glass point, whereas, like, a murder is the top story. If there's a murder that happened, it's guaranteed to be the top story. I'm not saying that that encourages more murder. I'm just saying, at some point, do I really need to know all of the murders that happened in my city? There were probably like 20 of them in Vancouver last year. I heard of a couple. There were a couple big ones. I just don't think it's irresponsible, I guess. I don't think anyone's assuming that either. I'm having an imaginary argument with my mother, I guess, is what's happening right here. You're witnessing like a serious psychological breakthrough for me. They think I'm kidding. Okay, I think we should go for a 4th level Meat Boy. Because I like having a 4th level Meat Boy. I don't think we need to go for there's options, although it would give us 1 floor of usefulness. Black Candle's really good. I'll take the map as well. I like all of that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, as much as I joke about I don't need to watch the news, I have Twitter, I don't necessarily think that's that ignorant of an opinion. I also read Our Vancouver, so I know what to be angry about. Those are the only 2 news sources I need. On Twitter, you get a general timbre for what the heck's going on with your neighbors to the south. And any huge global news also comes out there, as long as you know, are able to vet the source for yourself. And then Our Vancouver is like, no Uber until 2019, who do we impeach? And I'm like, dude, I'm right there with you, brother. I'll see you at the rally. 15% more taxis in 2019 is not acceptable. We need a rideshare program that gives the consumer options, okay? That's the one political opinion I'm willing to espouse in a video, full stop. And if you disagree with me, that's fine. But if you disagree with me and have never ridden in a Vancouver taxi, you're arguing from a position of weakness as a result of a lack of experience, okay? I'm not saying listen to me because I said so. I'm saying listen to me, because your boy's ridden in probably 200 or 300 taxis here. It's not a good service, okay? Anyway, it's not meant to be real. It's meant to mostly be a joke about local politics. Because for the most part, I think, like, unless the mafia is taking over your town, local politics are like, they're like fun, right? Screw you. No, screw you. Okay, please, can we get back to talking about what we're gonna name the community center? Like, national politics is like, I'm gonna blow up your country. No, you're not. Yeah, yes, I am. You know, that's some scary stuff. And even like state and provincial level politics is like, you can't marry this person. Try and stop me? Okay, I will. But then local level politics is like, put your cigarette butts in the garbage can. We're not, like in Vancouver right now, they're like, they banned straws. That's like one of the, it's not really a controversy, but it's like a hot button issue. To some extent, plastic straws are banned. Because we're a green city. Even though the Starbucks Nitro cup lid that they replaced all the lids with has more plastic than a straw. But like, I mean, that's really, I think that's Starbucks not necessarily acting in good faith in accordance with the legislation. So, I mean, I still shop there, but what do you want me to say? I still dine there? I don't know what verb to use for Starbucks. I still go to the store. I patronize it. Anyway. That's why local politics is fun. Everything above that, the stakes get too high. Well, local politics, you know what? Vancouver's, everyone's talking about housing prices, but the other hot button issue most of the time, bike lanes. The heated bike lane debates every 4 years. I swear, the current mayor built a bunch of bike lanes. We have 75 mayoral candidates this year, and that's only a slight exaggeration. 37.5 of them are like, we're going to build more bike lanes. The other 37.5% are like, we're going to make bike lanes illegal. It's the great bike lane debacle of 2018. Where do I stand? Where do you think I stand? On the bike lane issue. I hate them. I want every lane to be a bike lane. No, please. It's the millennial supervillain. Infrastructure. Hey, that'd be... I like this character. People are gonna hate it, and that's okay. I can deal with the criticism, because for this bit to be hated is funny in and of itself. Mighty nice bridge there. Be a shame if I made it more congested for car commuters by taking one of the lanes and making it for bikes exclusively. No! Nice parking spot. Be a shame if I raise the rate by 25 cents an hour and use the money to put more city-mandated bike racks on this route. Please, no! Nice suburb you have here. It would be a shame if somebody built a SkyTrain station close to it to provide quick, cheap, and clean transportation for your neighbors. Oh, but there's noise! The villainous infrastructure. He knows no restraint. When will enough be enough? Nice storefront. It would be a shame if somebody made the space in front of it a bus lane so that you couldn't idle there while waiting for your takeout order. How did he know? He's taken us apart piece by piece. So this run got a lot worse and is entirely my own fault. As bad as I may be at this game from time to time, I want you to know it's all intentional. I was only pretending to be bad. That's my favorite excuse. No, I mean, like, the thing is, I want to win. But I recognize that there's a cost that comes with Zane, who probably could have gotten away with not taking 4 full levels of Meat Boy. Had some HP instead. Dude, I gotta be honest though, Tammy's head might have gotten us out of a jam here. Look at this. It's doing so much damage. It's not like we were doing anything with Kamikaze anyway, because it would kill us to use it. More or less. You son of a gun. You ever wonder, there's like a... I'm trying to think of, because what I'm about to say is not even close to controversial, but if you phrase it in the wrong way, it could come across very badly. There's a whole unseen group of people out there keeping stores that you've never been to alive. You ever think about that? Like, I've talked before about, like, you know, for a long time, I didn't understand why insurance, like, why there were so many insurance brokers and companies. You know, I was like, surely this is too many. Like, how can the market bear it? As I've gotten older, I've started to understand. There are, like, I'm being sincere with you, there are entire industries of retail. I'm not talking about like a metal foundry, because obviously, like, you know, look at these hands. They're passing in between us. Take a look at... Okay, we don't need to shout, but sorry to those of you sleeping out there. All I'm saying is I'm a government man. But, I mean, like, there are just places I've never interfaced with before in my entire life. I'm trying to think of some good examples. An obvious one would be like a spa, manicure, pedicure, esthetician, cosmetologist, you know, like that one probably seems abundantly clear, and it's not necessarily made for me, but I have seen myriad nail shops in my life, and I have never, well, it's not true, I have stepped foot inside of one while I was waiting for, you know, I had like a lunch date with Kate. I was waiting for her appointment to finish. But I always feel like an outsider. Like when I'm in there, they're like, everyone's kind of being cagey, you know? We're figuring each other out. Like, is he allowed to be in here? And I'm like, am I allowed to be in here? Another one, dry cleaners. I kind of get it, but I've never stepped foot inside of a dry cleaners. I don't really even know what they do. I think the way that it works, and this is only about 15% an act right now. I think some clothes cannot be washed in a washing machine, and as a result, these establishments exist. And I gotta be honest with you, I really feel like maybe we should investigate who owns the dry cleaning facilities to determine if it's the same people making the clothes that have to be dry cleaned. It just seems like there's a little bit too much of an incestuous business relationship there, and I would like to have the ties investigated by W5 or Marketplace. This, again, Canadian references. I don't understand what a cobbler does. There is a cobbler in my hometown. By the way, is a cop-out. If you say a cobbler makes shoes, yeah, no, I know, but like, have you ever been like, hey buddy, nice shoes, where'd you get them? And he's like, where do you think I got them? The cobbler. No, they use Foot Locker, you know? Or Aldo. I got them at a shoe store. What are you, some kind of weirdo? But similarly, I guess maybe, I don't know if it's for dress shoes or it's for clogs or something, but like, you can't just... Come on. You gotta work on the shader in this room, my dude. Like, if I rip a hole in my New Balance 510s or whatever the heck they're called, I can't take those to the cobbler, right? He's gonna be like, I don't know what this is. That's not my impression. Like, does a cobbler make custom shoes to order? Do you only use a cobbler if you have incredibly large or incredibly tiny feet? Like, if you have child-sized feet, but you want an adult-styled shoe without Velcro, do you go to I'm not... If this is offensive for any reason, I just want you to know it's in good faith. I'm not trying to, you know, make fun of people with medically small feet. I'm just saying, like, I sort of don't understand it. But despite that, you know, there's places, you know, establishments that have existed for 40 years being patronized by people that are not you. Somebody with such a different worldview that they're not only like, yeah, I know what a cobbler does. They're like, I visit him once a year or as is necessary in order to get my shoes fixed. Is it a vestige from an earlier time where you would get like a pair of shoes when you turn 18 and that was the shoes you wore for the rest of your life? I'm not trying to vilify that kind of buy once culture. I think it would be nice to get back to an element of that instead of planned obsolescence and, you know, our, you know, disposable consumerist identity. I'm not anti-consumer, I'm just saying, you know, I'm buying like a new pair of shoes once a year, sometimes more. I wouldn't mind having like a pair of mahogany shoes that take 2 years to break in, but you have them forever. There's bike saddles like that. There's a very famous like Brooks bike saddle, and it's like, hey, ride on this. It's hard as a rock, and your butt is gonna hurt like the dickens for like maybe 60 to 100 hours. But after that, it's gonna fit you the way nothing else you will ever use in your life fits you. It's personalized to you and you alone. If anybody steals your bike seat, it's gonna be like they're sitting on glass, because it's molded to your sit bones, which are a real thing, at least in the cycling community. Look it up, okay? I'm just saying. There's these stores that exist that I mean, they're not for me, and not everything has to be for me, of course. But there's another good example is like fast food chains I never go to. For example, I've never, oh, you son of a gun. I've never been to a Taco Bell, but many Taco Bells exist. It's not, like, I'm not trying to be a narcissist, like, how can a business exist without my patronage? I'm just saying, there's a whole group of people out there visiting this establishment that is totally different from me. And it's mind-boggling. You're telling me there's, like, different kinds of people on the world? I said it, so you didn't have to. And yeah, I say on the world. We don't live in the crust, unlike the deep state. Okay, give me the prayer card. It is 1 HP. I don't care about the 10 bombs. Best Bud is also not that relevant, but... Did we ruin Booger Tears by taking Piercing Shot? We may have. Dude, we need a range upgrade. Most of the time, you will not hear anybody say that with Tiny Planet. Our range is a little lower. Usually we're in the 30s, I think. I don't pay too much attention to it, but this means, unfortunately, we have to get very close to enemies to hit them right now, which is, I mean, it'll come back to bite us. Varicose Veins, most of the time, is like a value add. In this situation, I think it's actually a little bit better, because our HP is low. To get what essentially amounts to another Tammy's head charge if we get hit, that could make the difference between life and death if we're able to take this much HP into the boss fight. So I think that this is one of the rare times. I mean, the other time is when you have IV Bag or something, or, you know, Dull Razor. But barring those items, this is one of the few times that we're really, really happy to see this. And I am just hoping that we are picking the right direction here. I was thinking about it, because, like, there's... I live in, I'm not sure if I've mentioned it, a relatively large city. So there are, I've probably been to less than one, I don't want to say 1/1000th, probably been to less than 1/200 of the restaurants in the city. And it's, I mean, to be honest with you, obviously, I thought this might do something else for us. It's obviously highly unreasonable to ever expect to visit, like, all of them. There's probably more opening up on a daily basis than there are meals in a day. But, like, there's institutions that have existed for 40 years that I've never been. Here's one for you. I've never been to, and this is going to blow people away if they live in British Columbia. I've never been to the White Spot. It's like a British Columbian diner chain that's insanely popular. I've eaten food that came from the White Spot, but I've never been in a White Spot myself. And yet, they have like 80 locations in British Columbia. It's not meant to be a judgment. It's more meant to just be food for thought, I suppose. That's like, man, there's a lot of people. Did we get, or no, you know what we got? We got a Tears upgrade because of the Eternal Heart, thanks to Dark Prince's Crown, of all things. Incredible. Wouldn't mind, actually, you know what? I think I would mind getting HP, but it's not necessarily a an easy decision to make. We're not going to get it anyway, so we don't have to worry about it, but... Like, if we got HP, is it in our best interest to take it right now? I would say probably not. I guess the rule is, if it looks like things are going well, why mess with it, right? Deadshot. I mean, I don't expect it to be super amazing for us, but I do expect it to do something. We're safe. Okay, that run got a little spotty, but here we are. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It helps a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. And now, thanks for watching. This is the start of something big. And I'll see you next time.